Welcome into Full Court Press with Patriots head basketball coach Blake Flickner. I'm Reagan Ratcliffe, joined alongside with Bishop Jones, Drew Calderon today. And the Patriots coming off two key road wins to open up Lone Star Conference play. You know, it's never easy when you go down to South Texas to take on teams like A&M's, Kingsville, and International. And you learned a lot about your team this week. What were the things that stood out to you?
Yeah, I thought our team showed good toughness and grit against a couple of physical teams. They played really well together. We were unselfish and kind of kept grinding. The Kingsville game was a competitive game for a long time, but we were able to kind of pull away at the end and just eventually kind of found some separation. And the International game was a grind kind of start to finish, but again, kind of at the end, we're able to pull away. And so just continuing to stay in the moment of trying to win each next play. And over the course of a game, hopefully at the end, it'll come out right.
4 straight wins now for your team. You know, a tough loss to St. Edwards, 3-point loss, but an incredible comeback in that second half. You know, oftentimes you maybe learn more through the losses. What did you take from that game, and how has it kind of galvanized this team over the last 4 games?
Yeah, we've had a lot of good learning experiences here early in the season against some great teams, and that was definitely one of them where we didn't like the way the game ended, but there was a lot of positive things that we saw in the second half that we could really build from. And seeing some guys, some of the new guys, Bishop in particular, that are really starting to kind of find their rhythm. And as we start to gel and see how the pieces fit together, I think this team's really starting to come together.
Yeah, a big piece is Bishop Jones. He's averaging a team high 15 points per game. And I hear your story. You know, you grew up in the area from Frisco, so you began your college career at East Central University. But how special has it been for you to come back home and take us through that process of making DB your choice?
Man, it's been really special, you know, just having this home community. You know, my family is only like 45 minutes away, so having them being able to come out to the games and support has just been really special for me.
What's it been like for you, too, learning a new system? And it's a unique system in the fact that the style that this team plays up and down the floor, but it seems like right now things are really beginning to click for you.
At first, I think it was a lot of road bumps, just for me personally, just coming in playing faster than I did last year. But having Coach Glenny push me and kind of explain and show me the ropes a little bit really helped me get acclimated to this new system.
You know, you had to deal with some injury, too, at the beginning of the season, now with a concussion. How tough was that for you? You missed the trip to Florida, not being able to play there. But how has that recovery process been? How anxious were you before?
At first, like during the Florida games, I was pretty anxious just because of the great environment it was out there. But after a while, I kind of just accepted the process and knew I was going to get back soon and just try not to rush anything.
Well, Drew, you were part of the team last year that went to the national semifinals. Another transfer as well from Austin Peay. You get back to your home state in Texas. But, you know, you lose some key pieces from last year. It was a great senior class led by 2 of the all-time leading scorers in program history. But it seems like this team is beginning to find its own identity. And what do you feel like that is?
Yeah, like you said, we lost some big pieces last year, and we know that. But we also brought in some good pieces, and we had a rough start to the season. But an overarching kind of message the coaches told us we're in position to win all those games, and just a few small plays here and there that we got to make to flip the script. So we stayed confident in each other, and we didn't lose faith in each other or the coaches. So yeah.
You know, one thing that also looks like you're really standing out when you look at the stat sheets is the 3-point shooting is coming alive. You lead the team right now with 24 3-pointers. But what is it about this team, especially when the shots are falling, because there's so many shooters, so many guys that can hurt you from outside. But what do you sense the rhythm of this offense is because of the shots that are falling for you?
Yeah, we have a free-flowing offense, which I think presents challenges for opponents. And we also have some dudes that are really hard to guard, like Bishop, like X, like Trev. So I feel like I kind of have just the easy job, find the open space, and they're taking all the defense's attention and just hit the open shot.
You know, as Drew talks about all those guys, I mean, you got so many guys that can fill it up from the outside, but how much does it help to have a presence like Bishop down low in the paint, and how does that free up your shooters?
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys that can make plays and can one game to another, you know, be our leading scorer. And you know, it's great to have a lot of guys that contribute, but you need somebody that can win a matchup, force the other team to have to either send an extra body, which leaves somebody open, or that can win a one-on-one matchup. And Bishop is starting to really find a rhythm in doing that. So that's great, but he's also a super unselfish guy. And so, you know, if you leave a guy like Drew open, you know, Bishop will find him. And so that's the chemistry and the synergy that starts to present real problems for the opposing team is, where are you going to give us an opportunity and what are you going to give up? And so, it's nice to have guys that can win a matchup and then guys that can make you pay if you double off of them or leave them.
The trademark of this team is what you do on the defensive side. Last year, you led the nation in forced turnovers per game. You're doing it again, 10 games into the season, 26 turnovers forced per game. Where do you sense this team is defensively, and are there areas, or where are the areas that you feel like you can improve?
Yeah, we can continue to be more solid. Right now, we're kind of swinging for the fences, and it's a home run or a strikeout, and we need to continue to force the turnovers, but also be a little bit more disciplined at times so that we can find that balance. But it's great to get those opportunities from turnovers or steals that lead to hopefully some transition scores and playing in the open floor. And we want to continue to do that. And we want to find that balance of, creating those transition opportunities, but also being solid in the half court when we need to and finishing plays with rebounds. So there's opportunities to grow, but it's been a great start on the defensive end. And as we get into Lone Star Conference play deeper, it'll be tough. We're going to play some really good teams. And so we're going to have to continue to elevate our game each day.
To be able to run a system like this and have the success that you do, how key is it to have the depth that you do? Because you got so many guys that can come off the bench and just provide a spark.
Yeah, it is. It's really important that you have guys that can come in and be ready to step up. And if we can always be playing, as hard as we can over the course of 40 minutes without saving our energy and trusting each other, that I think allows us to put the best team on the floor constantly for 40 minutes. And that requires, a selfless commitment to the team and a lot of good players that are willing to step up and play those roles.
With that being said, give us an inside look as to what is it like running a system like this, and how are you able to empty the tank? If you're going hard for 5 minutes, you got 5 guys coming in right behind you, how does it change your mindset on the floor?
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty encouraging. At most times we'll be on the court for 2 to 3 minutes max, and you got a sub coming in. So one thing the coaches tell us is just not to pace yourself and just fully empty the tank. And if we're tired, you just got to imagine what the other team feels like. So
I was going to say, what kind of confidence does it give you when you can start to see that other team as you get deeper into a game? It really becomes a question of how mentally tough a team is. Can they hang with you for 40 minutes in that style? Does it give you some added confidence as you get into a game, just as hey, I got a bench full of guys and we can run this pace for 40 minutes?
Oh, for sure. One of my favorite things in games is when you're at the free throw line and a dude on the other team asks you, was like, y'all aren't tired? Or like, how are y'all doing this? So yeah, definitely.
How hard has it been in terms of just conditioning to get into this type of shape to be able to run this system? Drew's done it for a year now in his second season, but for you, Bishop, what's that process been like?
During the summer, it was just like a lot of sprints and slides and just more sprints, but this is like the most running I've ever done in my life, but I am enjoying it.
Well, a guy that you always have to be on the ready for is Xavier Brown. We talk about what this team does offensively, defensively, and he leads the charge. Patriot fans are in awe about what he does with all of his highlight reel dunks. But for you in the low block, what's your thought process like? Because at times you may clear the path and here he comes down the lane. At other times you may get a no-look pass. So what is it like when he's got the ball in his hands and you're in the paint of the low block?
All right, so when I see like X, like he usually beats his defender, and if I don't get out the way, I got to be ready to just catch the ball if he dumps it off. When I see him jump, I still got to be ready because he might also jump it off while I'm midair. But it's just always just to be on your toes with him because you never know what he's going to do, but he always makes the right play.
At least for sure, an elite player, one of the tops in the country. But Coach, you've had so many great ones that have come through the program. I'm talking about big guys. Cam Conn was one of your great bigs of all time. I think of guys like Patrick Burt, Jordan McGowan. There's a lot of guys. How about Bishop Jones? Because Bishop is such an electric player, explosive on the floor. I know it's early in his career, but what are the things that you see in him?
Yeah, he's got a great first step. He's got really good hands. He catches the ball in traffic and wins those traffic catches. And his first step is cat quick. He's not as physical as a guy like Cam or Patrick Burke or Nick Fox, but he's got quickness, that is really unique. And his ability to get in there and play on balance and use his shot fakes and his pivots. And I think he's one of the best in the nation at drawing fouls because it's so hard to stay in front of him and it's so hard to guard. And he can create shots in unusual ways that present problems for defenses.
You know, then when you talk about Drew from the outside, three-point shooter, you've also had some great three-point shooters through the year. Braxton Adamson is the all-time great in terms of the number of three-pointers that he's hit. But Drew Calderon, he's got to be one of those that is on that list of elite shooters.
Yeah, Drew's special. I mean, we talk about emptying the tank, giving it your all. I think Drew really epitomizes that. He's a guy that is always maximizing his effort and playing really hard, and his ability to knock down shots is fun. I mean, I just watch him in practice, and the net hardly moves, and I'm jealous. Wish I could shoot like that.
Well, the Patriots get ready for St. Mary's on Thursday. Conference play, the Lone Star Conference right now. You've got 4 teams nationally ranked, and St. Mary's is a team that's in the top 10. One of the great guards is Damani Claxton. But you get them on your home floor, and it ought to be exciting on Thursday. As you've gone through film, what are the things that stand out about them?
Yeah, they're an elite team. We've got several teams in Lone Star that are still undefeated this late in the season. They're one of them, and they are special defensively. They just are a really difficult team to score on. They rebound tough. And they make the game physical, and it's going to be a good challenge on Thursday. I'm excited about it. It'll be a great opportunity for our fans to see a high-level game here in Dallas.
Yeah, we want to pack the Berg Center DBU against St. Mary's here on Thursday night. So for Full Court Press, we're head coach Blake Flickner and Bishop Jones, Drew Calderon. I'm Reagan Ratcliffe.